and welcome to Blossom with Busola. It's so beautiful to have you here again. If this is the first time you're here, super welcome to you. If you're always here, wow, thank you. It's always lovely to have you here. And if you have been here in recent times, you must have met this couple, Okpe and Bola Oyedeji. They are our friends, like childhood friends.
Sure, you're correct.
Yeah, we've been friends since uni days. That's just a summary. And you're about to hear more of our story.
It is God's goodness, and we want to share it with others.
Yes, we are always happy to share our story. Uncountable other couples enjoy this wonderful adventure called marriage. On the Blossom Couple, we gather together with these friends, amazing people, to share our stories. If you like what's going on, click like. Say it loud, prof.
Subscribe.
Yes, prof too can say subscribe. Subscribe and share. Share with your connections. And drop your comments. Any comments, always welcome. So today we are here talking about parenting, or should I say empty nesting. Like the children are gone, our children are gone, so we are all empty nesters. I remember our weddings were like 5 weeks apart, and Bola was everywhere. Well, ours was before there, so she was there everywhere, running up and down, putting things in order, making sure everything went well till the end. And she saw us off into the car to say bye. Thank you for 34 years ago.
Thank you. Thank you for thanking me.
And now, like, where have all the years gone to? How come we're talking about empty nesting? But that is who we are, empty nesters. And I remember the children. I remember Tolu and Tommy. In those days, remember them from babyhood, I mean infancy.
Yes.
Because we were like alternate parents to them. And they would come over to ours on weekends, short holidays, from when they were tiny babies, toddlers. I remember our names, our many names. Mommy and Daddy Okota. Mommy Ogidon, Daddy Ogidon.
Mommy Bonnie.
Yes, Mommy Bonnie, Daddy Bonnie. Then when we got to Newcastle, one day Tolu and I said, Mom, she said, Mommy Newcastle. I said, Tolu, you know what? Let's leave all that mommy location. Auntie is just fine, right? And I think we picked it up from there, like auntie.
When we were very small, one of the things I remember about them is that when they go visiting, we pack things for them. And when they are coming back, some of the things we pack for them will not be in their bag. Yes. Like usually when they come visiting you. Yes,
Tell us more about that.
They will miss their toothbrush.
I remember toothbrush.
So it's such a great pleasure to be speaking about them today, and we're so proud of the young woman Tolu has become and the young man Tony has become. We're just speaking with her this morning on the phone, and I said we are preparing our dancing shoes. So for those who understand, you know what that means. We should be having dates soon for wedding. Okay, let's talk about how it feels now that it's just the two of you at home. How does that feel? Just two of you.
Initially, it feels so strange. Very, very strange. And shopping, you shop for 4. But now you just shop for 2. And in those days, again, you have to shop according to each person's preference, you know. One person likes chocolate, hot chocolate, the other is just tea or coffee. One person likes cornflakes, the other is oats, you know. So you have to satisfy then. But now it's just me and my husband, and we find out that, oh, we don't need to buy these things anymore. So we now, at times I go overboard, and you know, especially when things are on special, you want to stock the house. And I remember, oh, I don't need these things so much anymore. So at times it's good, but then you miss them.
Yeah.
You miss them.
There's that bittersweet thing about it.
For me, it has been something that I missed a lot. Missed them. You know, we talked a lot. You know, before going to work in the morning, they will come and say, "Dad, good morning. What do we have for breakfast this morning?" I said, "Don't worry, we just take anything." But for some time, it has been that, you know, nothing like that in the morning.
Oh.
So I will just wake up. I will say, "Where is Tommy now?" Sometimes I will go to his room. Where is Tommy? Tommy has gone out. He's in Cape Town now. So actually, I really missed him. Sometimes when we are driving down to the next town, he will drive. I will be sleeping, and we drive and say, "Okay, Dad, over to you. Come and drive." I say, "No, just continue driving." No, but now I will just drive alone. No, that's been it's one of those things that at some time you will have to go.
Sure.
Yes.
We left too.
Yes.
That's true.
We
Yeah.
left too. People will ask me, Busola, how does it feel when Idara was about to leave our last? How does it feel now? Idara is going to leave. You're going to be left alone with your husband. I said, well, we knew it was going to happen. We left and we knew they would leave. And I remember we had a plaque then in our house in Ogidon. It was just at the back of the door. And it said, count your blessings. Count your blessings every day before they grow and fly away. Yeah.
Oh.
Count your blessings every day before they grow and fly away. It was a constant reminder to us that they were going to leave. So when people ask me, well, I'm going to be home with my best friend. So, and we have always been together. Even when the children were with us, we knew they would leave. So we prepared our minds for that and had that gradual release. So was there anything like that for you? Like releasing them in your mind gradually?
Mine was in her last 3 or 4 years in the medical school. You know, she was now being funded. And that means having her own money on her. And so she was not fully depending on us to give her anything. And having her own car, you know, at times the hospital she needs to go for calls, you know, they were introducing them to calls, going for calls each time. Initially, it was a bit difficult, and that actually disrupted my sleeping pattern. And she had to come to me and say, "Mom, you mean you are going to be staying awake for the next number of years? Please go to bed." And like you said, it took me time, but gradually I just came I talked to myself that no, you can't keep on staying awake. So what I did was I started going to bed, but then you find out that I will not sleep off. I will still lie on the bed. I'll lie waiting and listening to the door to open, you know. And the first thing is, "Mom, are you still awake?" The moment I say yes, "I told you to sleep." But I think during her final year, I could sleep. When she takes decisions now, she'll just inform us and say this. And anytime she didn't cancel, she'll say, "Okay, what do you think I should do?" That is when we come in.
There are different segments for them. Child segment. At that point, you know, they depend so much on us. We tell them what to do. We say, "Okay, you know, we wake them up in the morning. You have to go to school. You have to study. You have to do this. You have to do that." You know, that has been what, you know, that stage, you know, ought to be. But at that stage also, where when they went to boarding school,
Yeah.
you know, then a young adult, then being fully grown adult.
For me, it was a learning curve, especially when we left Nigeria to come to South Africa. In Nigeria, you know, we have a way of handling children. A child is brought up to obey the parents, to have the mind of just, yes, mom, yes, dad,
Yeah,
you know,
questioning.
no questioning. So coming to South Africa and them coming to a new environment, and as that age, you know, we had to try and understand them. You know, initially we felt it was somehow, they were somehow being rebellious. Yeah, in Nigeria you find out that when you are bringing up your child, you lay down the rules.
Yeah, especially
Don't
in our
do
times.
this in our times. Don't do this. Don't go here. Don't visit this. Don't, you know, the don'ts are there.
Yes.
And you expect the child to fully obey.
Yes.
How about the do's? Were there do's also?
The Jews were commands. Do
Okay.
it this way. Do it this way.
Yes.
But you see, coming to South Africa, we found out that the don'ts are there. But you just need to explain why the don'ts are there. While in Nigeria, you just give the command. You don't need to explain. But
Yeah.
for example, you find out that like Tolu likes visiting other friends, visiting a lot, you know, visiting, and then always wanting to spend nights in sleepovers. Yeah.
Yes.
And
Did you know sleepover when you were a child?
no, you know, sleepovers, you don't really know anything like sleepovers. Instead, you go to aunties or uncle's house, you know.
yeah.
You don't really go to friends'
Friends.
house to sleep over, you know. So we had to make her to realize that when you are sleeping over in a person's house, there's a need for you to know the type of friends you are sleeping over with, their habits, you know, because before you know it, it becomes something that you want to embed, and it's not really what or who you are. So we had to sit her down in those days, you know, to talk to her. Another experience which I had with her, I could remember, was she was having coily hair, that is Jericho, at a point in time. And I could remember when she was in Nigeria, go to the salon, do your hair. No, it's time for you to cut it. And she obeys, you know. But this time we found out that half of the hair was off, you know. So it was not even. So I told her that I need to cut your hair for you. And she said no, that she doesn't want to cut it. And I said, no, you must cut it, because I can't waste my money for so much rent only for the front part to be made and there's nothing at the back. And I could remember that day I took her to the salon and she cried so much that she didn't want to cut her hair. But it was for her good, but as of that time, she didn't say it. So I forced her to cut it, you know, and she came back crying. Even in the salon, she was crying, you know, turning her head and not allowing the guy to cut it. And I know she now told me that it was child abuse.
Child abuse, Nigeria.
She dare not tell me that it was child abuse.
So she even know that term. If she
So she
knew, she
told
dare
me
not
to-
let you know. She knew that there
Yeah.
was no such term.
So she said it was child abuse. And I think about 5 years ago, she now told me that, Mom, do you know that I wish I had obeyed you then? Maybe my hair could have been looking much better now. I didn't understand why you wanted me to cut my hair then, you know. So that is part of the things that parenting does. At times you know the end will be, but at that point, they can't just understand what it is, and you just have to try and guide them through. So I think I learned from that. I learned from that incident, because after that I sit her down and I make sure that I make her to do what she's supposed to do after she has fully understood what.
Okay, so you would sit with her
Yes,
and explain
and discuss,
and
you know.
get her.
At times it takes her days or weeks to digest it very well, that is, to understand what I'm saying and putting up her own argument. But after some time she'll say, okay, you know better.
Yeah,
You know, and
yeah,
then she
yeah. I
succumbs.
think that's what was missing in our upbringing,
Mm.
and also in the way we brought them up
Mm.
at the start, until we got to a point where we understood the need to explain things to them. For those of them that were still with us long enough for us to be able to explain. So I'm not sure that our older ones were with us until we had learnt that explaining thing. So, well, if there were things that we should have explained and we didn't explain, public apology, sorry guys. We were only doing what we thought
Or what
was
we knew.
best, what we thought was best.
And we
what
knew.
And how we were
how
brought
we-
up.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes, and I like what you said. There's a combination of both parents understanding differences in society,
Yeah.
explaining things to the children, at the same time putting your foot down. I like that about certain things, because at that age they need the guidance, even though
That's
they don't
right.
know they need it. So saying, no, this cannot be this way. You explain, and then you say, no, this is how it's going to be. And as we've seen, sometimes they turn back and say, oh, thank you for insisting I do it. And when they insisted on doing it their own way, because at a point you can't force them, you can only explain, and well, they will do how they will do, because they are growing.
That's true.
And you don't have that full control any longer. And then they come back and say, I wish I did it your way. And that takes me to the next thing I wanted to ask, that what would you say to younger parents now?
I will have to say that as parents, we need to strike a balance. There's a need for parents to be aware of the current civilization
The
stage.
changes.
The changes.
Yeah, that a child is in, you know, and try to stay with that child and help that child to become unique in that society.
Yeah.
So my advice is that parents should not stand aloof and do the command. Instead, give them room to express themselves, but let there be rules. You know, let there be rules to guide the children.
Like boundaries.
Yes, boundaries.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
setting
set
boundaries.
boundaries.
You know, let them know that yes, they can watch TV, but between this and this time, that's when you do the house choices. This time, between this time and this time is for
School
bedtime, schoolwork,
Yeah.
and all that.
Yeah.
But let them have freedom.
Thank you. So they need the freedom
Yeah.
and they need the boundaries.
Yes.
So
Leave the children, give them the boundaries,
Yeah.
and then set them free. Yeah. It's true.
yeah, freedom within boundaries.
Yeah.
I like that. Just like you talked about Tolu getting her money, her support, her financial support from government,
Yeah.
and so you had to be letting go.
Go.
She didn't need you for some things, and when we look at it honestly, the reason they were tied to us was we met their needs.
Sure.
We provided security, comfort, and all of those things. But when as they grew and could get some of those outside, what we had left really was friendship, the relationship that we have built. So there's need to prepare for the children living and develop a relationship that would survive, supersede that I provide for you, and because of that you listen to me.
Instead, it should be a situation where they see you as a friend. You know, a friend, a confidant that they can actually talk with. you know, because it gets to a point that they'll just pick the call. Mom, I'm about to do this, so what do you think? You know, it's just they need that advice, they need that company, or at times, oh, Mom, you have not called me. You've not even asked how my day is going, you know? It's now normal, do this, do that, do this, but you have allowed them, and they themselves, they are seeing that need to come back and build a relationship.
So at times, that's part of gradual release. When they make a decision that's not life-threatening, you give your advice and you just
And step back.
Step back.
That's
And
Exactly.
see,
And you step back.
yes, give your advice and step back,
That's true.
and be praying, of course. Right. So when you look back, what is there anything you think you would do differently if you were to do parenting all over today?
Yes, I think one thing I'll do differently is giving them space to express themselves, you know, that is, express themselves to me.
Okay.
That having discussion with them, sitting them down, letting them,
dialogue.
having a dialogue, you know, having a dialogue more, especially at that teenage age, you know. Yes, I wish I had more time with them to allow them express their feelings, you know, because at times they are feeling, it's what is going on in their head, you know, and they just need guidance, but not don't
Not commands.
not
Yes.
commands.
They need
you know.
the listening ear.
The
They
listening
need friendship.
yeah. You know.
I think when you were talking, that was one point I got from there. I said, yes, I think being able to dialogue with the children, hear their point of view, understand what they are thinking, and at times it will also help us understand the pressures they're having. Yeah,
It's true.
and when we do that, I think it helps. It will help the children in their development. Yeah. So I thought exactly that was lacking. I for me, no. There's no time to talk about anything. Orders are orders. You obey and go with it.
That's all.
Hey guys, can you hear your father? So you would have more discussions, more dialogue, more conversation
Yeah.
too, and take some time out to understand them and
Yeah, even you see, I learned. Yeah, even though I learned from 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, seek first to understand, then to be understood. I didn't think it applied to children, but now with hindsight, I just say that for young adults, seek first to understand.
and children too.
And children, yes, even children, like those children that just came to the door. They understood the explanation about my
Because
finger.
they saw your finger.
They saw my finger and
asked
asked
questions.
questions.
Yeah.
And did you cut your finger? I said no. I had a swelling there, and then I took it to the hospital, and they opened. I wanted to say they just opened it and did a minor procedure. I said, would they understand that? Tell them they used anesthesia. They cut it. The place was numb, and then they cut it open and then wrapped it up. And they, okay.
This finger has now healed. Plasters off, everything okay.
So it's important to explain.
Explain
The
and
children are humans. They have a mind. At times they may not understand what we are saying, but
You may not understand everything.
okay, they may not understand everything.
And I think when we allow them to express themselves, it also helps them to be able to face the world, you know,
Yeah.
to face their friends, and to be able to have a more balanced opinion about things, you know. because now they are hearing from you, they are hearing from their friends,
And they're expressing their opinion
their
to you.
opinion
So they will
to
be
you. So you are
confident
able
to-
to punch and say, no, this, that, this is the reason, that's the reason, you know. So they can now have a balanced opinion over certain things that is currently going on in their lives, and it helps them to grow better.
kind of like to develop
And
their own
own-
perspective.
Yes,
They
yes.
borrow from you what they want to take from you, add to their own, and they're able to face their friends, face the world,
Yes.
and say, "This is why I'm doing this."
Yes.
Unlike when we just say, "Do it this way, do it this way." So if people outside ask them, "So why do you do this?" I don't know.
I don't know.
When
don't
they
know.
don't hear, I don't
My
know.
mom said.
My mom said. And like,
Daddy said we should.
yeah. So, okay. So thank you so much for this sharing, reflecting. Thanks so much. And thank you for being with us. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you've picked a couple of things. And if there are other things on your mind that you think can help other viewers, it's a community. Please drop your comments, share generously. And I'll see you again in my next video. Till then, thank you. Bye.
Bye.